Hey, beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. I guess you can call it a podcast. You guys, today we're here to talk about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And I can tell you right now, if you are not about the cursing or whatever, I get it. I get it. And I don't want you to unsubscribe, but this video is not for you because I'm about to go off. Number one, it was a shitty day. Such a shitty day. I'm about to have all the wine. I'm not even kidding you. I'm about to drink all this shit. No, I'm kidding. But I am having a little sip right now. So, number two, when I watched this episode, when I tell you I was so pissed off, I was so pissed off. Like, I would love to scratch Lisa Rinna's eyes out. Like, I just cannot stand this lady, and I feel like somebody needs to slap her up. Just beat her ass. She needs to be fucked up. She really does. Like, Lisa Rinna is ridiculous. And I would stand there and hold her while Sutton just fuck her up. All right, let's get to it. Oh, sorry. Before we get to it, let me say welcome to anyone who's new. If you have not already, please like, comment, and subscribe. Please subscribe. I promise you, all videos are not going to be this shitty, but this one, yeah, the cuss words are about to be flying. Sorry. But again, please like, comment, and subscribe. All right, so we pick up exactly where we left off with Lisa Rinna and her bad acting, her terrible, terrible acting. Oh my God, I didn't mean to cry, but I'm so glad I did. Ugh. And for some reason, Sutton is hugging all up on Crystal. They had a moment. And then we have cake for Kyle, who needs to beat it. Kyle needs to beat it, you guys. But a lot of these girls need to beat it. Then we have Crystal talking, and she's telling them how she heard. I heard that you all had an issue and was thinking that I wasn't attempting to get help, and I have attempted to get help, and I'm going to keep attempting to get help. So I just felt like she didn't need to give them that. Fuck them. Like, you don't need to give them that. That's none of their business. All right, so Crystal finishes her big speech about getting help, and Kyle has the nerve to ask her, well, do you think that the people that you're getting are really helping? Should you find someone else? Y'all, the irritation. But she answers and say, yeah, I've been interviewing people. Like, all of this is stuff that she don't have to tell them. Like, I feel like I don't know that it's coming from concern or just being nosy. The same way Erica, we're going to get to it, Erica feels like Garcelle isn't coming from a place of concern. She feels like she's just pretty much starting a narrative and starting shit. So why wouldn't this be the same thing? But again, we'll get to it. So after she finishes, Garcelle is like, is there anything else that we need to hash out? And once again, Kyle and Garcelle producing the moments, like seriously. So Sutton starts speaking about, there's something that I have to tell you guys with the whole thing about being, what she say, a liability. And I'm like, if I never hear the word liability again, it'll be too soon. But she starts telling them that she got a phone call from someone who wanted to get her, a deposition. And it had something to do with Erica and her whole, situation that she has going on. Okay, so it's not a deposition. It is one of the lawyers that reached out to her because they felt like she had some information. And Erica turns up. I mean, she turns all the way up. You did that shit. You did that. You're the one that said you knew something. And then we look back and there was Sutton at the reunion saying that she heard from one of the that one of the other partners left because of some shady dealings, and she's like, it's just a rumor I heard. And then Erica's like, I told you it was going to come back to you when I said somebody, did you want to be sued? Girl, that ain't what you meant. That is not what you meant. But she's claiming she was trying to let Sutton know that no, you need to just stop talking, which, okay, that's true. Like, if Sutton was as scared as she put on last season about it, then she probably shouldn't really have said anything about it at all. Just mums the word, I barely know this girl. She is just my coworker. But anyway, so Sutton is again trying to make the point, and it's so funny because she is not scared of Erica at all this season, and you can tell because Erica's like going off, and she's like, okay, the thing that I found out with Erica is that she has a lot of lawsuits. And Erica's like, yeah, I do. So Sutton just very casually says that makes you a liability to all of us. And I was like, there it is right there. There is exactly what she wanted to say last season, but nobody would allow her, and she was a little scared, and they just kept coming at her. That's it. You were a liability, even though, last year she was just like, no, I was checking, I was trying to make sure nothing happened and we were okay. No, you were a goddamn liability because you're on this show showing off all this money or whatever, and you're around us and they think we know some shit. So kudos to Sutton for not being scared of this girl no more, because why are they so scared of her and Lisa Renna? Are you kidding me? So Doree turns to Sutton and she says, do you think that maybe you were targeted because you were the only one in this group that questioned Erica? And I'm like, are you kidding me? And thank God Garcelle was like, she wasn't the only one. So we get the flashbacks of how each and every girl outside of Erica, like they questioned it, except Garcelle. She questioned Erica directly. But Dorit and Kyle, they had questions, but it wasn't to Erica. Yeah, so as they're talking, Garcelle says again, she wasn't the only one that was asking, and I'm not being her bodyguard. And everybody's like, yeah, right. And then Diana's like, out of everybody here, you are the most guarded. And Garcelle rolls her eyes, and I was so glad she did, like up in her head, like this bitch. Like, honestly, that's how she rolled her eyes. And then she's like, how did we go from lawyers to liability to me? Well, that's where we started, no? And Garcelle and Sutton were both like, no. Nobody else said no, even though they all know. Nobody was talking about Garcelle. So fuck is you talking about? Diana, what are you talking about? So Garcelle just says, oh, she says, no, I just think that I like you. And I'm like, bitch, no, you don't. I like you, but I just feel like I have to really work hard. And Garcelle is like, what do you want to know, Diana? And she gives her this smile. And I'm like, yes, you better bring it. You better let her know she's getting on your goddamn nerves. And let her know, listen, you don't have to work for my friendship. We definitely don't have to be friends. Like, girl, oh, I'm telling you, this whole episode was just a lot. Y'all, it's gonna be real hard for me not to keep saying how much I can't stand Rena. But as they're talking or whatever, Rena is like, Garcelle, do you hear her? Do you hear her? And she's like, she starts laughing and she's like, no, really. And she's like, what do you hear her saying? Garcelle asked Rena. And y'all know I can't stand Kathy Hilton, but she started laughing. And I was like, yeah, because fuck is you talking about Lisa Rinna? Like, these women are off their rockers. Like, they're crazy. And she's like, she's saying that she was hurt. Like, how is she hurt? This girl don't care nothing about Garcelle. She really doesn't. So let's leave the word hurt out of it. Are you kidding me? All right, so Diana then says, yeah, I would just like to get to know you in a different way, Garcelle. And Garcelle says, okay, Diana, I would like to get to know you too in a different way. Y'all know how she talks. And then she's like, okay, what do you think about that, Rena? And Rena's like, why'd you say it like that? Like, why are you being so defensive? And she's like, well, why'd you talk to me like that? And why are you being so defensive? Like, they're going back and forth, and it's a little ridiculous because what is Lisa Rinna talking about? Then she says something about coming from love. And are you kidding me? Because she literally just cursed everybody out. Well, no, not everybody. Sutton, like at the top of her lungs in front of company. And now you're saying that you work from love and there's something wrong with Garcelle. Like, I can't stand when people do that shit. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, something's going on with you. No, ain't nothing going on with me. I just don't like you. Okay, so we wrap we wrap this scene up with Garcelle saying no one ever comes to her aid. Basically, nobody is ever like Garcelle is right. So of course, Kathy Hilton and Kyle, oh, Garcelle is right, ha ha ha, Garcelle is right, whatever, and scene. All right, you guys, this might be a quick review because I fast forwarded the shit out of a lot of it. Okay, Kyle at home with her family, don't care. I did see the flowers that Chris Jenner sent over, beautiful. And then we have, oh no, just back at Kyle, they're having dinner or whatever, and because her birthday and all that. So the boyfriend or fiance is there, and she's talking to her daughter, and she's telling her daughter, her daughter's like, listen, I don't want a big hoopla type of wedding or whatever. And you can't tell me that at some point she did not reference Paris. like Paris. Like I'm going to do the opposite of like I promise you. She probably said something about because I was waiting for it to just fall out of her mouth. She's like, I'm not doing all that. I'm not doing, and I'm like, yeah, like your cousin Paris. Just say it. And I feel like if she said it, they probably cut it out. But how do you say how you're not doing all the hoopla and all that like your cousin just literally did and not mention? I mean, and that ain't no shade. That's just saying I don't want to do what she did. But whatever. Um, then we had Crystal at her house, and I don't care, so I fast forwarded. Even though I do like her husband, he's funny. But it looked like Kathy came over. Don't like Crystal, don't like Kathy. Didn't watch it. All right, so we have a moment with Lisa Rena and Erica having lunch or dinner or something. And of course, I was like, just sit down and say Sutton. Like, just go ahead. That's all y'all finna talk about. And I was right. Rena's like, she's a trigger for me and apparently you. And why did she have to say that about you? Why did she have to say that? And Erica's like, well, she said why she said it. And I'm like, yeah, when she kept saying why she had to say that, I was thinking the same thing. She said exactly why she said it. And she said it because it was proof that she's not a liability. I'm a liability. Like, Erica got it. Lisa Renna probably got it. She just liked to start shit. So she's like, yeah, but, she didn't say anything because that's what she does. And Erica's like, yeah, she kept it to herself, and didn't let me know about it until she could use it, I guess, like as ammunition. And, okay, she did, but I'll allow it. It's fine. It's totally fine. So they end up saying how they like her sometimes, and Lisa Renna is giving this party, a disco party or whatever, and she's like, "Cause I've been really rough on people," and Erica's like, "No, you have not. No, you have not." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" Then Renna laughs and said, "Well, yeah, Sutton. I've been a little hard on Sutton." And I'm like, you know what you're doing. Like, they really, really feel like they can pick on Sutton. And I'm so glad she got a backbone sometimes. Because I really get irritated when she start apologizing to them. And no, I love it when she stands up for herself. But, I mean, what is she supposed to do? She has every single body coming at her. It's so ridiculous. But, so she's going to have this disco party, dumb as hell, and they're all invited, including Sutton. All right, y'all. So here is where Kyle had everything fucked up because y'all can't stand her, can't stand her. So she goes out with Sutton, and as soon as they sit down or whatever, she's like, "So what's up with that comment that you made about Erica?" And Sutton is like, "Well, it's the whole liability thing, and I think it's hypocritical, and I think it is, laughable that she called me a liability when actually." And in her, excuse me, in the confessional, Kyle is like, "I really thought Erica and Sutton were getting somewhere, and now Sutton does this. I'm sorry, did you miss the part where she called Sutton a liability? They were doing fine, and then just out of nowhere, oh, she's a liability. Are you kidding me? And now it's Sutton's fault?" I don't know. I don't understand. Hopefully, Sutton will open her eyes at some point and see that Kyle is not your friend. She constantly sits down with Sutton and plays like she's her friend, but all she wants to do is berate her and tell her everything that she did wrong. So she's coming. Oh God, she's a wolf in sheep's clothing. And Sutton just keeps falling for it. She needs to just cut Kyle off. I swear, she doesn't mean her any good. Kyle is not a friend to anyone. All right, so now we get to the reason Kyle asked her to dinner or whatever, and it has nothing to do with her being her friend and everything to do with her, number one, telling her she was wrong, and number two, finding out exactly what happened. Oh, so what happened? Did they write you a letter? Did they call? Did they email? Did they text? What they do? And I was like, she's so fucking nosy. Sudden, don't tell her nothing. And actually, she didn't. She said that one of the lawyers reached out to her personal lawyer, and she's like, "Listen, they have a whole lot of different suits going on, and I can't talk about it." They call her to be a third-party witness, and she's like, "For the prosecution? Yeah, can't talk about it." And so I was glad, and she's like, the part that irritates me is the fact that she put everybody in a bad position, and none of y'all want to talk about it. Y'all don't do nothing but sit up and protect her. And then Kyle was like, "Why are you being so defensive? Why are you doing that to me? Like, you won't let me talk." When did she cut you off? Because she did not cut you off. uh, why are you being like that with me when I'm just asking questions? Well, you shouldn't be asking questions. You should be minding your goddamn business. How about that? All right, so we wrap up this scene with Sutton letting Kyle know she has a date. And Kyle is like, oh, should you be wearing all of that on your date? Like, don't you need to look poor? Like, why are you looking like you have money? Oh, and let's go to Kyle's royal blue Birkin. First of all, I love royal blue now because of my my late great grandbaby Amari. But the Birkin, I don't like Birkins, you guys. Like, I just don't think it's even cute for all the money that it is. Not even a cute purse. Like, the bag is doing nothing. But anyway, what did they say it was like 16,000. So we see Sutton's bag, and her bag is 7,500, and she's like, "This is poor. Like, I thought I was dressing down." And she's like, "Oh, that's poor." But she's like, "Quit looking like you want to take, or you don't want to look like you have money and you're looking to take care of somebody." And Sutton was like, "When's the last time you've been on a blind date?" And I'm like, "Yeah, thank you. Shut the hell up, Kyle. Like, how are you giving her any tips and everything when you ain't been on a blind date?" Oh, all right, so we have a montage of all the ladies getting ready for Rena's party. And nobody looks fabulous, so we're not even going to go into the outfits. Like, honestly, I don't even think Rena looked fabulous because fuck Rena. How about that? But listen, her attitude is just so stank. She is sitting up to asking, are these girls bartenders? No, they're not bartenders. The bartender is coming. Oh, I need a drink. I need a drink right now. And they're like, okay, we have pre-batch drinks over here, just those two or whatever. No, no, I don't want that pre-batch shit. I don't want that dry shit. You know what? I need lemons. I need limes. I need real lemons and limes for my girls. I need a bartender. And I'm like, who is she talking? Like, what is wrong with her? Honestly, like, what is wrong with this girl? And why are you talking to these people like that? Honestly, like, I don't like it when you talk to, I won't even call them the help, but people in the service industry that's doing stuff for you. They're there to work for you, sure, but they're not there to be treated like shit. Like, don't do that. And she turns around, she's like, well, the drink is really good, but we still need real bartenders. That attitude, couldn't deal with her. So y'all, real quick, the ladies get there, and like I said, nobody looked amazing. Garcelle with her little '70s gear on, okay, that's fine. Like, people looked fine. It wasn't, like I say, anything to write home to mom about, but it was fine. But they're taking pictures, and Kyle is like, um, Sudden, get off my hair, get off my hair. And then Dorit turns and yells at her, get off her hair. I would love to just stand these girls in a row and slap the shit out of all of them. Just keep going down the line, slapping the shit out of all of them. Dorit, Kyle, Rena, and Erica. Oh, Diana. Who else? You know what? Let's throw Crystal in for good measure, because why not? I'm just kidding. But anyway, yeah, and then Garcelle is like, listen, calm down. It's just a picture. What would Sutton do if she didn't have Garcelle? Poor Sutton. All right, so the ladies sit down and Kyle invites them all to Aspen. However, she lets them know that her house is really small and there's a house that's like 10 minutes away that you guys can stay in. And everybody's like, what? We want to stay with you. And I'm like, yeah, she just said her house is small. What the hell? And then Garcelle was like, I'll stay at the other house. And everybody just looked. And I'm like, yeah, stay at the other freaking house. You have no choice anyway, so just do it. And then Diana's like, I'm just going to stay at a hotel. And they all look mortified. What? Oh my God, a hotel? And in her confessional, she says, listen, I'm a great host, but, I'm a terrible guest. So just to save everybody the stress, I will stay at a hotel. And she just don't want to be bothered. Like, y'all, she don't want to be on the show. So thank God she's not coming back next season for sure because of the comments and stuff that she said online. But this girl don't want to be bothered with these women, and I don't blame her. So she'll be staying at a hotel. Then they have these two disco dancers come out, and who cares? Kathy, of course, trying to be Kathy. What's this? What's going on? What's happening? What's this? What's this? And I'm like, do you not see what this is? Like, they're dancing. Calm down. And, the girls get out there and they dance with them. I think it Dorit. It may have been Dorit. It was somebody that said, well, it's no Melissa Etheridge, but okay. Shade. Unless it was, well, it was shade even if it was Dorit. But It's fine. They looked corny, but it looked like they had a good time. Half of the women were dancing, and the other half were not. So Erica ends up telling Garcelle, yeah, we didn't get to know you or whatever. The same thing I just said, basically. But she's like, listen, you don't get to talk to my friend and treat her like shit, and then I'd be okay with that. And then she's like, it actually really has nothing to do with Sutton. Like, if you talk to anybody the way you talk to people, I'm not gonna have, I'm gonna have an issue with that. So I was like, yeah, you better go ahead and defend your friend. Like, Sutton, I hope you are happy because she be defending you to no end. She really does. Um, and then just all of a sudden, Dorit goes at Sutton. And she's like, what you said about her and the lawyer, whatever, it was below the belt. And she looked like she had had too much to drink, actually. And Rena as well. She's just like, yeah, it was mean. And I'm like, who's talking to you, Rena? Like, why do you have to get in it? And who's talking to you, Dorit? Like, nobody is even talking. Like, they just be skipping over stuff. And it just be too much on these episodes. Too much. It's much ado about nothing on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, which I have found, you guys. Like, they just argue in circles. And we kind of be here for it because we like the arguments, but I'm kind of getting sick of the same old, same old. It's the same old, same old, and I'm kind of over it. Yeah, so then they get into this big old thing because Kathy is stupid and they're talking about everything that Sutton said, and Kathy is like, at the homeless and toothless charity, and they're like, it's homeless, not toothless. And Garcelle is laughing. Cherie is laughing. Like, other people are laughing, but she only sees Garcelle, and she's like, Garcelle. And Garcelle's like, what, you talking to me now? And she's like, yeah, because you're laughing. She's not the only one laughing. And you coming at her like you madder at her for laughing than you are at Kathy for saying it wrong. And Kathy's cracking up. And then, Kyle is like, listen, the name is not amazing, but the toothless and homeless, or she said the toothless not homeless charity, does really good work. And Crystal turns, she's like, that's not what it is. So we go back and forth, and all you hear is all around the thing, homeless and toothless, homeless not toothless, toothless not home. Like, they just can't get it together. It's a stupid name, period. All right, y'all, this next conversation had me livid. It had me livid, truly. So we get to Sutton is still talking about, what she meant or whatever, and she's going in circles and all confused, and everybody's looking like, what? So Erica says, oh, and I have the drinking problem. Oh, but we'll get to that later. And she looks at Garcelle, and Garcelle's like, huh? And she's like, yeah, you're trying to paint this narrative of me having a drinking problem. And she's like, well, I was worried about you because even when I had lunch with you, I told you it was a problem. So basically, she's saying she wasn't just going around talking about her. Like Erica's saying, listen, I talked to you about it. And Erica told this girl, you would be the last person to know if something was going on or whatever, because these girls I am closer to. Basically, that's like, you are not in this group. You are not a part of this pack. You are not one of us. Like, oh, when I tell you. And Garcelle's like, I know you all say it like a billion times a day. And how do you think that would make somebody feel? And they're doing it on purpose. Like, they are purposely keeping her out. And sis, you're a black woman, and you cannot relate, and they cannot relate, and they're not even attempting to relate. It's basically how I took that whole thing. So you know what? Fuck them all. I'm telling you. I just can't stand it. I can't stand the fact that she has to be there, and Cherie ain't saying nothing ever, so she is good for nothing. Sorry, Will's first wife, good for nothing. She could go. She could just go. Like, if you are not going to stand up and say anything, have your girls back in any kind of way whatsoever, like, oh, I was so irritated with this. And she's like, Erica's going on about how she feels like Garcelle was trying to make her look bad. And she's like, no, you do that all on your own. And everybody was like, oh my God. And I'm like, you better tell her. So then Dorit started coming at Garcelle and telling her that when they were talking, and she was kind of saying she didn't think Erica had a problem. She's like, don't be Kyle, don't be Kyle. But she's like on 20. And Garcelle is like, I'm pretty sure I didn't say it like that. And she's like, you said it more than once. And Kyle's like, what's wrong with being me? And I'm like, girl, you got time? Like, there's a laundry list of things wrong with being you. Um, And then Kathy is just like, listen, we're supposed to build each other. Excuse me, build each other up because she could clearly see all these women are just coming at Sutton and Garcelle, like, and they just be jumping on them one at a time, and it's like tag teaming. It's ridiculous. So Kyle, of course, she's producing, so she has to wrap the scene up. Listen, listen, you guys have issues. You have a love hate thing, so you guys need to start over again. And Sutton is like, all right, Eric, I'm gonna call you. And she's like, please don't, please don't. And I'm like, Sutton, don't you ever call her again in life. Like, once she says don't, fuck it, don't ever call this broad. I'm telling you. I don't know how they are able to deal with these women and then get into it to this extent, and then like the next time they see each other they act like nothing happened whatsoever. I mean, I understand it's work, but it's too much for me. Y'all, so we end the episode with Kyle, saying, well, Erica saying don't call me or whatever, and Kyle's like, okay, so is there anything else that we need to talk about? And Kathy is like, I think we're good. And all everybody's looking at her. And she's like, boy, did I get snapped on about the homeless and toothless. She's like leaned over talking to Garcelle, the homeless and toothless and homeless. And she's like, I'm going to call you tonight. Garcelle's like, I am not taking your call. Yeah, I just feel like all these women had a lot to drink because Kathy seemed like she was like on her ass a little bit as well. So, but yeah, they kind of turned on Kathy on this one in terms of she was trying to, say women need to, be lifting each other up, and then you had Dorit and Kyle and everything. Kathy, we need to have these conversations. And I'm like, yes, Kathy, because it's TV and they have to have some kind of altercation. Like, Kathy, what don't you understand about reality TV? And I feel like that's where they was coming from with it. But when I tell you Dorit is not a fan anymore because she is talking about her charity, and she was like looking at her, spitting daggers at her. But oh, you guys, this episode made me so freaking mad. So if you are still here, you are the real MVP. I appreciate you. If you have not already, please like, comment, and subscribe. How do y'all feel about the drama that we're getting? Like, do we get drama on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? We actually do. Every single episode, we get a little drama. We get a little moment because they're going to make sure we do. These ladies know how to make a moment for sure. However, is it good drama? Like, are you all invested? Do you all care anymore? We are definitely over the whole thing. But anyway, I was wrapping up. All right. If you're still here, thank you. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think about the whole episode, and I will see you guys in the next video. Smooches.